Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, Max Fried is fried right now. Yankees dropped the final game to the Houston and overall lose 2 out of 3 over the weekend there. And it's just a disappointing fashion where this team, since the trade deadline has not taken off, still continually struggle there. And, kind of wavering the mind there, but there's still a glimmer of hope to climb their way back in the AL East there. But at this point, you're probably going to have to settle for a wild card spot, just the way this team's going right now. And, of course, Devin Williams gives up yet another huge home run late in the game there. Cost the Yankees the Friday game. This is after not only blew the Texas game, one of those games that the Yankees could have a 5-4 to win lockdown, but also gave the go-ahead runs the day after that. So it's like 3 games. Devin Williams has lost the Yankees in 1 week there. So it's just getting a lot of bad for the Yankees right now. So we'll try to recap all of it, and I kind of made this give you some positive energy. So before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this podcast, Section 420 Talkin Yankees, the podcast, wherever you get your favorite podcast. There's also the YouTube version of the show. So go to YouTube, search for Section 420 Talkin Yankees, and subscribe there as well. So, the Yankees is lucky to get that final game against the Texas Rangers, avoid that sweep, and I guess that was kind of a coming on moment for David Bednar, the new, I guess, you would have to make him the closer at this point right now. Obviously having a multi-inning save there where, again, he even chased Boone to go back. He's like, I'm finishing this game. So showed some guts there. And, again, for a newcomer there on a new team such as the New York Yankees, you'd like to see that. I mean, listen to somebody to show some sign of life on this team. He also got, multi-inning save on the Saturday game, the one game the Yankees did win this weekend there. So, again, you like his guts. You like what he's doing right now. Again, showing a ton of more heart than Devin Williams is right now, or almost anyone else coming to that bullpen. They all kind of look like deer in the headlights lately. But you'd like to see that makeup from Bednar. So maybe that's the one bright spot you can see. But overall, Houston comes in. Are they the better team? Maybe marginally here or there. It's hard to say. They're playing better right now. And the Yankees, of course, not playing good right now. So all that being said, the Yankees had an opportunity to win the Friday game. But, of course, Devin Williams, Boone, yet again, put them out there in a high-leverage situation. And it's not that he's giving up multi-hits. He's giving up home runs, like home runs in general. That's his backbreakers. The Yankees lose the Friday game. Okay, they recap. They bounce back. Saturday there, get a good stuff from Luis Gil. Good to see that. Obviously, I was going to kill him for that first start in Miami. Obviously, it's his first game. Not going to go crazy there. But looked a little bit more of himself. Pitch into the 6th inning there. Had 7 strikeouts. Left at least with a lead at that time. Now, the Yankees bullpen would falter. But again, another yet late inning clutch home run for Trent Grisham. Seems like to be his de facto thing to do. Hit some late inning home runs, big home runs, go-ahead home runs for the Yankees. And if somehow the Yankees could squeak into the playoffs somehow like that, that's a guy, come up in big spots and, probably hit some memorable home runs if the Yankees going to get there. So, again, one of the bright spots for the Yankees. Hasn't been too many of those lately. But, of course, I have absolutely nothing on the Sunday game. And this is really the point I want to get to is Max Fried, which I don't want to beat up the guy right now. Look, he's just not pitching well. Really just before the All-Star break since now. I mean, it's not been himself. It's been horrible. And I can't blame all the Yankees struggles on him. But, early on in the season, pretty much every start he made, you could just pencil in that W. You just can't do that with him now. See him struggling. I know previously in the Tampa game, he at least pitched into the 7th inning. But other than that, every game has been like 5 innings, 4 innings, 5 innings. They had the 3 innings against the Cubs, which was career worst. And you just see him not putting hitters away and just getting knocked around and not looking like himself. And, we don't know if it's that ongoing blister issue. We've seen that. Then he had the mystery bloody finger as well there. So something's off with the guy. I don't think he's hurt or anything like that. But obviously, whatever he was doing in the second half, something hit the wall with this guy. And he's struggling for right now in the second half. And again, if the Yankees want to have any prayer, you at least need one ace. I mean, the whole idea is when they started the season, we can almost have like 3 aces, with, I don't call Rendon an ace, but having Cole, Fried, and Rendon at the top of that rotation. Now you got Rendon, who's overall been okay. Again, he's been, I can't really get on Rendon. Again, he's had some tough outings in terms of just grinding it out there, but not letting, things get too bad for him for the most part. But Max Fried, obviously, you can see him struggling. If the Yankees don't have that number 1 ace type of guy there, I don't know how they would be, even if they could get into the playoffs somehow, the wild card, how they could even go further there. So Fried has to figure it out. Now, as I mentioned before, since the All-Star break has not been good at all. You look at his last 36 innings, he's given up 29 runs, so it's almost about a run per inning. ERA during that stretch has been 6 even. Now, if you look at his numbers overall, 12-5 with a 2.94 ERA, you say, hey, that's not that bad, which, in normal case, is not bad. It's just he got such a great start there that the fact that he has the 5 losses now and the ERA getting close to 3 there just looks like a world of difference because he was like pitching to an ERA almost under 1 really for the first couple of months of the season there. And then again, since then, the All-Star break has been struggling quite mightily. And if you want to look at his workload at this point, he's thrown 144 innings, which overall, again, at least traditionally, you want to start it, maybe get about 200 innings per the regular season. So Now, if you look at his career, he did last season, he pitched a total of 174 innings. So you want to look at his endurance from last season. He has about another 30 innings to go to match that, which, okay, you got about 2 months left. What is that? Maybe 5 or 6 starts left, more or less there. You go do the math, about 5 innings per start there. So he's pretty much on track workload-wise to match what he did last season there. So it's not the fact that I don't think the Yankees are overworking him. Early on the season, yes, he did have a lot of 7th to 8th inning games. And of course, remember, he almost had that no-hitter, which he pitched into the 9th. So yeah, they did stretch him out a little bit early on the season. But if you look at the second half, along with the struggles there, he has been going much shorter. So I don't think it's a workload situation. And according to Boone, again, Boone's on top of this. He's the manager. Going to take his word for it. He's always going to say the right things. Again, he says his stuff is good. He says the cut's good. Stuff's good. He's just spotty with the control there. So I don't know, because Fried has to work out the control. And is it the new catcher? I don't know. Is it like working with Ben Rice, a little bit different? You started the season off working with mainly Wells, but then you had a little thing going with JC Escara there. So who knows what the situation with Fried, but he's gonna have to figure it out because the Yankees need that ace right now. And then of all the problems they got right now, Max Fried was supposed to be low on that list, but now he's become one of the guys where you get out there and you just kind of hold your breath a little bit. Is he going to give you a good start or not there? And then again, if you're the Yankees, that cannot be the case there because you need him to get himself right there. So as long as he's not hurt, hopefully it's just a control thing. I don't know, but he's got to find to get himself back into whack there because, again, his starts have to be almost an automatic win. And look, you can't really totally blame him for the loss. I mean, Yankees going to actually give him a plethora of support. And it was kind of behind 2-0 for most of the game. Then it kind of ballooned a little bit there, but it's not exactly the Yankee offense was actually picking him up there. So not all on his fault there, but he's got to be pitched much better, and he has not been pitching that great since the All-Star break. And of course, getting back to Devin Williams, this guy cannot see a high leverage situation game anywhere from the 7th inning on for a while. I mean, I don't care. His next 5-6 appearances have to be spectacular for Boone to even consider him in a late inning situation. At this point, I almost rather see Mark Leiter Jr., who probably doesn't have the stuff. He doesn't have the upside as someone Devin Williams does, but I'd rather even see Mark Leiter Jr. in there in a high leverage situation, in the 7th to 8th inning than I want to see Devin Williams right now. He's just totally out of whack. Confidence is probably through the basement. You cannot put him in there in a tied game or a big spot right now. He just does not have it. Whether it's physical, mental, we don't all know right now. You can't have this guy basically cost you 3 losses in 1 week and you put him out there again. They got these new arms now with Doval. Of course, Weaver's still reliable for the most part. And of course, Bednar. Those are your 3 guys there late in the game. That's it. You cannot put Williams in any of those situations. You could bring out a position play to throw knuckleballs before you put Devin Williams in a 9th inning or 10th inning situation. You just cannot do it right now. And we also had a stat with him. Obviously, this season alone has given up more earned runs this season than his previous 3 combined. So something's wrong with the guy, and we knew a little bit coming in. There was a bit of a danger zone. Obviously, he had the back issue last year where he missed a chunk of the season. Overall, I still think it was the right idea by Cashman to make that trade, to bring Williams in and ship Nestor out, who, again, pretty much, we saw as good we could get from Nestor, and he exactly hasn't been Cy Young for the Milwaukee Brewers right now, even though the Brewers overall probably one of the best teams in baseball and one of the hottest teams in baseball. But, I still don't fault the trade. It was the right idea to bring him in here, but whether it's a physical thing, a mental thing, it just has not been working out. All you can do is just root for the laundry, as they say. Hopefully, at least close out this season with some dignity. And, of course, he's going to be a free agent. And in no way you can just bring this guy back. He just cannot handle it here. And funny enough, again, this is the guy who pretty much twisted Cashman's arm to, and Hal's arm to, lift the facial hair band the Yankees had for a long time there. The whole idea as well, attract more players here. It's a different era. We're living in the 2025 right now, and players want some facial hair. Fine, I understand the move. Some Yankee fan traditions didn't like it. Some didn't mind. I was on the fence a little bit. Again, as long as the team's winning and everyone feels good about it, I'd rather have championships and great players playing here versus, worry about some facial hair. But nevertheless, this is the guy that came in and changed all that, and he's lousy. So let that sink in there. And again, I've had some, I've seen some comments where people say, you know what? Put the band back in, the facial hair band, bring a razor and to shave all these guys' faces, and maybe they'll snap them back into shape there. Would be nice. Maybe that's something, George Steinbrenner would have done, or Billy Martin would have done back in the day, but obviously those days, Boone's not going to do that for you, so don't count on that happening. And of course, Boone, his usual act, getting kicked out of the Sunday game there, arguing balls and strikes, which whatever, maybe he's just trying to fire the team up. And I saw people getting on to Cody Bellinger, that little bloop bop, in the 8th or 9th inning there, he went to throw home, the ball went over his head. The game was over. It was 5-1 at the point. I mean, I know it's a little silly, but Bellinger's made so many good plays for the Yankees in the outfield. A couple of games to close out. And, of course, that big double play he had in the Citi Field game where he had to put out in left field and then threw Soto out going back to first base for a double play. I mean, a point of the season where they kind of saved the Yankees bacon. So, give him a break on that one, all right? Bellinger's been fine for the Yankees defensively. Okay, one little thing. And, again, that game was over anyway, so almost doesn't matter there. So, Yankees are going to be limping a little bit. They're still at home. That's like one of the little few good pieces of good news. Got the Minnesota Twins coming in now, about 6 games under 500, as I said they would be. They were sellers at the trade deadline. Got rid of maybe the best bullpen arms. Got rid of Correa. So this is a real watered down team. So it's like, again, the one little sparkle of hope I was giving the Yankees, the schedule for them, even over these next 41, 42 games is relatively light. I mean, there are a lot of easy wins for them to kind of crawl their way back. And they kind of were the same book where they were about a week ago. 6.5 behind the Toronto Blue Jays for the AL East. Actually 2.5 behind the Red Sox, who was surging. But again, there's still plenty of games. Overall, some easy wins there. Plus, you have a lot of head-on left with the Red Sox sort of climbing way back in there. So, I'm not going to paint it all doom and gloom there. But again, they have to start winning these games, start getting back to winning series. You have a golden opportunity right now. The next 6 games, you got 3 at home against the Minnesota Twins. And then you got 3 on the road against the Cardinals. Again, also another team that's been scuffling a little bit. So, a lot of easy wins in front of the Yankees there. They just got to take advantage of it. And luckily, another item that didn't blow up in Boone's face, and that's, of course, Giancarlo Stanton, which I didn't think they would do. And he said he was going to put him out in the outfield. Well, they did do it on the Saturday game. Luckily, not too much action went to him. He did have a put out in the first inning. Then he had a throw later on, but luckily didn't get much action out there, so not really an opportunity. He was working out there for a while. Of course, they're going to say the right things. He looks fine, looks great, but it was his first time since September 14, 2023. So it's almost 2 years in the make of him actually playing the outfield. Don't love the idea, but I understand the whole idea right now because Judge, who's still working his way back to resuming his place out in right field as he's dealing with the sore elbow, and he hasn't exactly been tearing the cover off the ball too much as well. I mean, had a big hit in the Friday game, but other than that, his bat's been silent really since he's come back from the IL as well. So you wait for him to finally take off, and you just hope he's not hurt there again because we haven't seen much from him since he's re-entered the Yankee lineup. But of course, him as the DH, you got to do something with Stanton because you can't have 2 DHs, and you want to lose Stanton at bat because he's one of the few Yankees that's actually doing quite well. He was on a good pace for almost hitting a home run every other game there. So you don't want to relegate him to just a pinch hitter, but of course, if Judge is soaking up that DH spot there, you have to find a way to get Stanton in there, and the way to work him in there is to get him to play the outfield there. So, I don't know, maybe hold your breath for a couple games to do that, but long term, I do not want that to happen because it's going to happen to Stanton with all his lower body injuries there, and it's just, you're aching for something to happen. It's August, it's relatively been not a super hot August, so we're here in New York, been a little bit lucky there, but it's the dog days of summer there, and I do not want Stanton out there, pulling a quad, getting dehydrated, and then he's on the IL for 30 days and just forget about it at that point for the Yankees. And of course, another injury worth mentioning, Rosario, not much. Again, he hasn't really been a huge impact since coming to the Yankees, but in the Friday game, because, banging up against the wall there, ended up having to be placed on the 10-day IL himself. Now, you feel it'll be a short stay, kind of similar to Judge's 10-day IL, should be a legit 10-day only there. He said he actually was feeling a little bit better on the Sunday game there, but I guess, jam up the shoulder there where he's going to be out for a little bit. Again, this is, of course, also with Austin Slater. Looks like he's pretty much going to be done for the rest of the season. You're going to expect much from the guy, but pulled the hamstring there in the Texas game there, and looks like he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. You weren't expecting much from him anyway. I don't even know why they made that move. Again, I thought maybe it was an insurance policy in case Judge's situation turned out to be worse than it was. But he's pretty much going to be gone for the rest of the season. I don't know, maybe he comes back late September. But is there anything really you want to see from that guy? Probably not there. So, I guess he had 2 or 3 days as a Yankee. Hopefully enjoyed the experience there. And, of course, he's a free agent after the season there. So you won't see him anymore. So that's the episode. Not much to be cheerful about there, but luckily Toronto and Red Sox as well, but mainly Toronto has not run away with this AL East, so it's still within striking distance of the Yankees. So all I gotta say is just hold on hope. I mean, at least the Yankees have the pieces to be good. Luis Gil, you wanted to see based off his last start there, where he kind of looked like he had some dominating stuff, had the 7 strikeouts and 5 innings there, so. But you got to get Max Fried to turn around and start being himself again because you have those games where he's out there and you have to pencil in the win there. And this takes the pressure off everybody else, including Rendon, and everyone's going up and down the line there. So that's all you can hope there. And it's the offense. Again, they got to wake up a little bit there. Kind of been in the doldrums a little bit. And maybe had to do with Judge in the lineup, out of the lineup, Stanton in, now Stanton out, and all that stuff there. But they got the guys in there to do it. And again, as long as no one's hurt, they should be able to do it. And in the back end of the bullpen, you should be set there with Bednar, Doval, Weaver. Nothing's perfect there, but again, Devin Williams cannot see any high leverage situation for a while there. Again, if you're Boone, you're doing that. I don't know, you're just kissing your job away because this Yankee team, even they squeak into the wild card. I've been saying Boone job could be in jeopardy there, but I don't know how you would maintain Boone, especially number one if they miss the playoffs. That's just one thing. He's definitely out. But even if they squeak into the wild card there, you have this team with this talent there, and it's just really underperforming, and things are collapsing there. And then again, eventually Boone's number is going to be up. If you're going to let him go, I think he would have done it by now, so maybe Boone's job is safe. I don't think he will survive that week in Texas there, but I don't think you take Boone out with just a month left in the season. At the point, it's not really worth doing at that point. So if they're going to do it, they're going to probably do it right now, so maybe Boone's job is safe there, but this team's got to get it in the gear fast. Catch you next time.